This is WFO Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Elon, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Jason. How are you doing, man?
Good.
We're live. Not
live to tape this week.
Not live to tape, live. Glad you're all with us. And we're on time. It's 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern.
Yep.
We're ready to go.
As you heard, we got new music because Joe told me that we're getting dinged on YouTube for my other music, and I was like, I don't know. Okay.
No, I didn't know it was a real song.
I didn't either, but whatever. I guess it is. But welcome. We are back from 2 weekends in a row. Elon, you were gone 2 weekends in a row. I was gone just one. Yeah. And we're back.
And I'm kind of feeling it today. I had a little post-travel cough for most of the day. So if I go down like Ron Capps pre-race, let me know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was it was a hot one this past weekend, huh?
Hot. And then just Norwalk was just bonkers. Lots going on. But yeah, it was so hot. And just back-to-back hot races is just I was in Ohio from Tuesday. Supposed to be from Tuesday until like 11 o'clock on Monday. But I was there until like 4:30 on Monday, thanks to American Airlines' inability to get an airplane out of Dallas to Cleveland.
Yeah, I saw you guys as I was heading to my flight, and you guys are and you and Abby were working, and then here comes Courtney with Miss Good News.
Yeah,
our flight's hasn't even left. It's still on the runway in Chicago.
Yeah, so I don't have that FlightAware app. I think I should get it because people that have it, but also it just ramps up your anger. I just assume not know what's going on, but she had that FlightAware app, and it's like the plane hasn't even left Dallas yet, or it's left the terminal. It's been sitting on the runway for 2 hours, and then Chef Cody from Elite was with us, and let me tell you, everyone has different versions of themselves.
Yeah,
and the travel delay Cody is becoming my favorite version of Cody because as that flight got progressively delayed, he would just get up, stomp around. He wanted to go fight the gate agent, and then he would catch himself, and it's like we finally just took him down to the pub and got a couple mules in him, and he finally calmed down.
When I saw them, and it was like 30 minutes before my flight at 11:30, he's like, "Hey man, are you gonna have a Bloody Mary?" I go, "I guess I'll have one. I got 30 minits to kill." And he was already too deep at that point in time. So I can't even imagine how bad he was at 4:30 when you guys finally left.
He did. I've never done the public massage chair before.
Oh yeah.
But he threw a $5 bill in one, and then it just kept going. It was like $5 got you like almost 40 minutes of massage chair action. I would love to charter with Doug Coletta.
Yeah, Jim. If we could charter with Doug,
just start a GoFundMe for that, and we'll get right on that. But so then I threw $5 in the chair beside him, and it was violent.
Those things do get bad. Now, here's something. This is not Blanchard. He turns into Braun Breaker. Yeah, exactly. He totally does. This is my obnoxiousness. If there's a big delay, I will go and overspend like an express spa or the Be Relaxed spa. I'll go get a chair massage, and I did that on the way to Cleveland before on Thursday.
I've only gotten one chair massage in a mall, and I'll give you one guess of which NHRA Top Fuel driver I got the chair massage with. It was last year in Seattle before the autograph session on Thursday night.
Oh, let me see. It was it hold on. What's his name? Matt Hagan.
No, the great Josh Hart.
Okay. I can see him getting a chair massage.
Yeah, we did not do a couples massage, but it was very funny. He was like, "We got some time to kill. Just do chair massages." And I was like, "Okay."
That's great.
Yeah, so
I love it.
We did chair massages at the massage chair at the Cleveland airport, just out in front of everybody. And it was just, I just tried to zone out. And then I got real self-conscious, like how many people are just walking by.
Watching your body shake.
Watching my body just get flopped around. And I just didn't care. And is there anything also more unnerving at the airport than all the people that are regular travelers, and then our circus walks through there? So you see 15 or 20 people that you know.
Yeah.
And you just launch right in, and people around you are just like, how do you know 50 people in the airport?
Right. No, it is funny. My wife and I first got together, like I always saw somebody I knew in an airport. And not even drag racing.
Right.
But
yeah.
She's like, how do you know everybody? I go, listen, they're here too. It just happens. This is what goes on. But yeah, when you, like on my flight, I had a couple safety guys, safety safari guys. Chase Van Zant and his family were on my flight. They were like, yeah, we got to go to Charlotte to go to Iowa. I go, that's a weird turn of events.
Galvin was flying from Cleveland to Atlanta to fly home.
Well, he's Delta too. Yeah, but he could have gone to Salt Lake City. He could have gone Minneapolis.
Yeah, those all sound like terrible connecting cities.
Salt Lake City is a great little airport. I mean, it's not little, it's a big airport, but it's a nice airport. I will give Salt Lake City that airport.
All right. Yeah, I don't know that I've flown into Salt Lake City anytime recently. But yeah. So Monday we spent all day at the Cleveland airport. And I think that basically added close to $250 of expenses.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're stuck at the airport.
Yeah. 2 meals.
I used to
they don't have an Admirals Club. And I found out that they do have like a Cleveland club that you can buy a $50 day pass for.
Right.
But I didn't find out about it until we already been at the airport for like 4 hours.
Yeah, I have access to that club with another credit card that I have, and that club's not that great. But I got rid of my Admirals Club membership because they're just everywhere I connect into or go to, it's so busy, and there's like 1,000 people in there, and I'm like, I thought this used to be exclusive. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it.
They're sorting it out because now they've adjusted their loading. We got upgraded, so now they do first class, then Group 1, then Group 2, then Group 3. So,
yeah, I got upgraded on the way home too. So,
that was also the great thing with Travel Cody is I was like number 4 on the upgrade list. Abby was like 5, Courtney was 8, and Cody was 9.
Oh wow!
And they upgraded 8 people.
Oh,
so Cody in our little group of 4 was the first person on the outside looking in.
Oh,
and we let him have it. We were not kind.
Yeah, that's no fun. I don't know how I got upgraded on this flight, but I did, and because I'm usually like 29 on the list. I'm like, there's one seat available. I do not need to see how far down on the list I'm at. Just don't put my name up there. I'm good.
Yeah, I like to look on the app and just see kind of how I stack up around the people around me.
Well, that's how I also know who's on my flight too.
Yeah,
because then you can see the people like, oh, they're up there. They're on the way higher on the upgrade list than me. But yeah, I'm glad we got out of there alive. That's all.
Yeah, I am too. And we saw quite a bit of history at Norwalk. What do we want to dive into? Do we want to dive into ice cream eating contest, which was
let's do that because that was Friday.
That was Friday.
So, yeah, Friday morning, which is like we were talking about last week. It is one of the highlights of the whole weekend, pretty much.
And as expected, Gianna Evaristo still undefeated.
3 in a row for this young lady.
3 in a row. And the great thing about this photo, Corey Reed made a good run at her, and we need to notice what Corey Reed looks like on Friday.
Right.
On the left, and just file that away. Spencer Hyde to the right. Also, I mean, there were 3 people that gave her a run for her money.
Oh, listen, Ida was a monster.
Ida got jammed up because she got stuck with peppermint mint ice cream or whatever.
Mint chocolate chip.
So she had to, but we did see, and I told a bunch of people this, we saw the first pass in a rear engine top-fueled dragster as it relates to the ice cream eating contest.
That's exactly what we saw.
She's the Don Garlits. She was not successful in her first attempt, but she used the push-up model, which no one has ever tried before.
No,
She just squeezed the carton and was just taking huge bites off the top.
Which
and
was smart.
And I think that next year, a couple different players are going to do that. And if they get vanilla or chocolate, I think they could do that. And Monica, in general, mint chocolate chip is an okay ice cream to just eat.
Yes.
But if you're trying to eat it very quickly, it is not good because you have to, like Buddy Hull a couple years ago got butter pecan because that's what he liked, but too much chewing.
Yeah, they're like, and then they have this Moose Tracks thing with their little like chocolate, like Reese's peanut butter cups
pieces.
kind of. Yeah, and you can't eat
there's
that.
like pretzel pieces in there and stuff. Yeah. So, but watching Gianna, you are seeing a master at work. Like her,
it's unbelievable.
For someone that's lactose intolerant, she just doesn't give an F about it.
Well, Spencer Hyde's lactose intolerant too, and he went to town. I was like, bro, it's gonna be second round. It's hotter than Hades out here. It used to be second round. You're being that funny car in that fire suit. Yeah. We're gonna have a mess.
Spencer went right from ice cream eating contest to lumberjack contest.
Yeah, he had a lot going on that weekend,
which was also a new addition with the hot saw contest and drama there with Chris King and Buddy Hull and Matt Hagan and Clay Milliken and, Spencer doing hot saw, chainsaw activities. Spectacular.
Did you see the guy who got the chain came off of his real,
chain to the leg?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so he's the pro, Mike Sullivan, he's basically the John Force of chainsaws. 10-time or 15-time chainsaw champion, and his chain came off and went right into his crotch. And we're all like, holy shit. Yeah. Like, okay, this is not good. Chain to the crotch, but his chaps, their protective chaps, did exactly what they're supposed to do. And it was just like someone that never seen a drag race before and sees a funny car blow up, and they're like, oh, that guy's dead.
Right. Yeah. That was scary. I was like,
he crawls out of the car, and you're like, oh, safety equipment did its job. Well, the chainsaw safety equipment, but like I was standing beside Kelly Antonelli and Chloe Hudson and a bunch of other people, and like the thought of the chain coming off really hadn't occurred to us. Like, oh,
right. Yeah.
Not good, but it was exciting, and it went on all weekend.
It was very cool. A couple things that I think needed to happen over there. What's great, I was watching it, and I'm like, the best part about this is that it could be tiddlywinks, it could be goldfish racing. That whoever's talking on the microphone is going to hype it up like it is the greatest sport ever. And that guy did it.
To see baby Jesus being delivered,
right? And that was the best part about that whole thing to me. They could use music in between setups and stuff like that. I was like, okay, we can make this a little bit better. But again, it's a an exhibition type deal. I'm sure when you go to the real hot sauce stuff, they've got all that everything.
I think that was actually a point competition. Like there was like a regional event. Like that was a real kind of thing. So I would like to see, because it's cool. It's set up just like a drag race, qualified field, 8 of them, 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7. Round by round, and then they had a champion who won a chainsaw.
Nice.
They had him on the starting line on Sunday, and he got a chainsaw for his efforts, which was pretty cool.
I wonder how many chainsaw those guys have.
They have to be like the disc golf guys that just have 9 million frisbees.
Right. Yeah. I saw a disc golf thing on TikTok or something the other day where this guy got called for a foul and he lost his mind. I was like, bro, it's disc golf. Slow down.
Yeah. Well, Buddy Hull got disqualified because he didn't make his cut straight. He kind of like went at an angle, and he didn't have like the right thickness of his cuts. And they call them like cookies and cakes and all kinds of. They have all the bits.
Yeah, and I appreciated that whole process of the hyping up and making it like it was like. But yeah, they definitely needed music for the finals. We gotta work on that stuff. But Damon, ice cream eating contest video. Go on NHRA's social. It's up there.
NHRA Facebook.
Yeah, we've played it a million times at the races because we had some Racing was a little difficult this weekend. It was very, very difficult.
If you were not in the correct lane, you were not having a very long day.
No.
I think Top Fuel, no one won, or maybe Funny Car, nobody won out of the right lane, like until like the second round when it kind of got more manageable. And Top Fuel was just a pedal fest and just all kinds of stuff going on. But hot tracks, what are you going to do?
And then you got Tony Stewart blowing up 3 engines.
Oof.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
I think the second or third one was really pretty spectacular. Like it totally blew up like chunks of car behind him just rolling down the track.
Yeah. And then was it Saturday that Dave Richards just that body when his blew up, that body just crumbled. It looked like aluminum foil when you just do that.
It did.
I was like, oh, it was crazy.
Yeah. And they had it, and someone was like, I actually walked by the pits and was there, and a fan actually asked them, like, hey, you guys going to be able to fix this? And they were like, no.
Yeah.
Like Sarah Slaughter, the PR person, was like, yeah, we're going to see if we maybe can cut it up for charity or, something.
Yeah. I mean, that thing was done.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one done like that in a minute, but that was good. More history being made. First time winner.
Yes. Corey Reed. We have a picture of Corey Reed winning for the first time.
Well, that's Joey. Let's get Corey.
There. Okay. There's Corey Reed. You'll notice that on Sunday, no more beard.
Yeah.
Do we know why he shaved the beard from Friday to Sunday? I think he had it Saturday too.
Yeah. I don't know why he shaved it, but yeah, that in fact, I didn't even really notice that until you brought it up here. I was like, let's go back to this picture. There.
Yeah, beard.
There's the beard. And then
Sunday, spectacular walrus mustache.
That is tremendous, by the way.
It's like something from a Dr. Seuss, like the Lorax.
The Lorax, exactly.
He's like, so that's obviously Corey Reed with the mission hat on and his best friend, Joey Gladstone. They've been through so much together.
Yeah.
Joey won Pro Stock Motorcycle in Sonoma a couple years ago with super long hair, and then he cut clean cut. And then now Corey finally wins, which was great to see new winners. His first time win, John Hall won Pro Stock Motorcycle, like his first win in like 20 years or something. Yeah. Wilford Brimley, and also another strong Andy Reid-ish. But I really think the Lorax, I just thought of that. I think the Lorax guy now is spectacular. But it was cool to see Justin Ashley, I guess technically went back-to-back.
Yeah, but he probably won't take the back-to-back.
He will not take the back-to-back. And then Austin Prock won.
Ho, ho, hum.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good at Winner's Circle. I mean, and at the top end with Corey, he just couldn't get it out. I don't know how everything that those guys have gone through. I mean, I know, but I don't know. You know, unless you live in that world and you have to go through it. But to get out there and win at a race like that,
right?
Under those conditions, and I mean, when he crossed the finish line, Joey dropped to his knees. It was so cool because everybody just let Joey have 5 seconds to himself.
Right. Let him have his moment.
Yeah. And it was great.
Yeah. So that's cool. And it's also, in the PR people world, like Sadie Glenn, I think Corey was her very first SR driven media client. And so she's been with him through everything. And to see a guy go from that to winning is just really cool to see that. They got the ice cream scoops.
Yep.
And, Bill Bader at the top end giving up the ice cream scoops. That's pretty cool. So this is just a kind of a cool all around weekend. Mark Powick won in FlexJet Factory Stock Showdown. He's now he's an Ohio guy. He's never won at Norwalk before. That's his home track. He finally won there. So now the only significant place he hasn't won is the U.S. Nationals.
Wow. Okay.
So he's wanted to win the Gator Nationals. He wanted to win in Bristol. He's won a world championship in FlexJet. But now I was like, what's next? And he's like, I got to win the U.S. Nationals. He got to the final last year and kind of messed it up. But now he's got all in on winning the U.S. Nationals, which would be 3 in a row. So the FlexJet guys do a bounty. Ford, what's up, buddy? I saw Ford at the Summit tent. Ford was at the race.
Yeah, I saw him this weekend. He shook my hand. Sorry, Ford, I couldn't stop and talk. I was trying to get to that ice cream eating contest.
I was in the Summit tent, slinging Drag Race Bracket Bonanza QR codes and chatting people up on that. So, which is great. Summit had a great weekend for this. It's our biggest weekend ever for Drag Race Bracket Bonanza.
Nice.
Most people signed up like for filling out brackets, and most brackets filled out. So that's continuing to grow. So dragracebracketbonanza.com. If you're not playing, the prizes were awesome. We got Bill Bader to sign the plaques. So they got the winners and Bill Bader's signature on the plaques. So
yeah, once again, I checked my brackets. I was like in all categories, I was like 780 something. I'm absolutely terrible at this.
If you're finishing in the top 100, you should actually be pretty proud of yourself because there's thousands of people filling out brackets.
Yeah, I just you would think I would get this. No, I even tried to randomize one of them, and I was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't. There's people doing the randomizer now, which I love. But yeah, it was pretty, and it was their upsets, but also kind of you're not going out on a limb if you're picking Clay Milliken and Justin Ashley to go to the final in Top Fuel,
right?
Or Austin Prock. Now anyone that picked John Hall to win in Pro Stock Motorcycle, yeah, go ahead and take an extra 20 out of petty cash.
Yeah,
solid. Corey Reed's kind of a decent pick. He gets quite a bit of action just because they're kind of like, this guy's got a really good car. Eventually, he's going to win one.
Well, yeah, I think I picked Hartford to win.
Yeah, he had a badass car.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
There's no investigation on the winner of Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It was one fair.
I cry foul too. I cry foul as well. Tell everybody what we're talking about.
Sweet Abby Warner Woodward won fair and square. And what are you going to do?
That's like us, we're not allowed to gamble. I think Abby should not be allowed to play Drag Race Bracket Bonanza.
She will not be able to go back to back. We've instituted a one-time winning rule. But think about, I am a bracket addict, obviously.
Right.
I do all kinds of brackets. I do March Madness brackets. I do Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. I am terrible at them. I'm terrible at all forms of these games, and I would like to win one time.
Yeah, I listen. I don't like. Somebody was like, they were talking about, because I love soccer and all that stuff, and people were like, oh yeah, well, and I'm a huge Liverpool fan. That's my team. I will not bet on them. And the one time I bet on them was with Brandon Bernstein because he's a Man United fan. Okay. And we were killing. And this is the last time we won, not this past year, but the last time during the pandemic when we won the Premier League, and they lost to Man U, and I had to buy Brandon a freaking jersey. That was the bet.
Oh gosh, I was like, those things are not cheap.
Yeah, it was like $95. I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah. And
since then, we've owned Man United. Brandon's like, oh, I'm not betting you. Forget that. You're crazy. But like I tell people all the time, you can't bet with your heart, man. That's where you start losing money.
Invariably, I'm just not good at it. But we had tons of people playing. It was fun. A couple weeks off, we'll get back in at Seattle. But yeah, so a lot of cool stuff going on. But yeah, Norwalk was, crazy. Now, the other great thing about Norwalk is dining in Norwalk.
Yes.
And we go to the great Manny's Sports Tavern on Thursday night. And Abby and I were there first. And then do we want to tell this story of Joe Costello coming in with
yeah, so what happened? Like, I hate going places with 1,000 people.
Right.
Wait, what happened here, Joe? Joe reposted this stream? I don't know what that means.
I think he's just sharing it. I think he's just out there promoting us. Good job, Joe.
Thanks. Yeah. Repost the stream, everybody. But the So we go, and it's like he was at the track doing stuff, social media things. I had just gotten there. You texted me, and I had just pulled into the hotel, so I was just trying to get everything settled. Joe's like, "Where are we going to eat?" He's like, "I go, there's Manny's right across the street. It's old reliable." He's like, "No, man, let's go someplace else." And then it turns into, well, we got to go someplace that Nikki wants to eat. Then and then it turned into, it was Nikki, me, and
Josh
Joe.
Hatchett and Kurt and Jacoby, the new addition.
Well, but those guys were like not in the mix at all at first. It was me, Joe, and Nikki, and then we were like, oh, and I said, Elin and Abby are already there, so we can go hang with them. And then,
and I'd invited Josh Hatchett, and Josh was like, oh, I'll be right over there, but didn't mention that he had a traveling party of 30.
Right. Here comes, and then as we're walking across the street, here comes Galvin right behind us. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's with Ted from with Antron. And then, and so now there's 30 people that are involved in this. Not really 30, but, more than a four top.
And there are other people in there, like R&L team was in there, and they had plenty. They were short a couple tables. I don't know what was up, but then we get in there, and then Joe starts trying to coordinate smashing tables together and overwhelm the hostess. And then the waitress is sticking up for the hostess. And we're all just like, hey man, we just want to get along. But ultimately what happened is Joe got to push two tables together. And then Abby and I had to leave the restaurant. We lost our table to Joe Costello.
Yeah. We kind of took over that table. And then, dude, everybody showed up at once. Yeah. And the hostess was 16 years old, and our server, who, by the way, she's tremendous at that place.
What rock star?
One of the best, and she's got Joe back under control, because Joe's like, hey man, I didn't want to. I'm just trying to get everybody to get along, and I'm like, Joe, we were good, everything, we had it all worked out. We all don't need to sit together, and then he's like, no, we got to pull the chairs and tables. I'm like. And then he starts apologizing, and we were like, "I wonder how much spit's going to be in." Joe's
there's
food.
Just going to be don't get close to Joe's food. No shareables for Joe.
Right.
But ultimately, Abby was able to get reincorporated into the table, and then I just worked the room, as Abby said, which was great for me. I don't need a place to sit. I can just wander around, talk to people, because there's a whole NHRA table. That's the best part about Manny's is we went back Saturday night, I guess, and dined there, and Greg Anderson was in there with his whole crew, and then Joe actually joined us again, but we were on like the side room over there by the salad bar, which that's the Bermuda Triangle. I will never sit over there again.
No, that's all the way over. And then another thing, Joe's coming from the track, and Galvin's like, hey, have you eaten yet? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, he goes, all right, we're going to Danny Boy's, which is the pizza place right next door, which was fantastic as well. And so I said, Joe, we're going to Danny Boy's if you want to come here with us. Well, he thought I said Manny's. I'm like, no, Joe, it is on your phone, texted to you, Danny Boy's.
Danny, Manny, whatever. But yeah, so I was there when he rolled in, and we just basically captured him and solved all the world's problems. But also, you get to that point on Sunday where he had come into Manny's and realized what had happened, and he was just like, oh, I just can't leave and go to Danny Boy's, which was literally like
it's in the parking
right
lot
next door. They basically share a parking lot.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no.
Well, it was good that he didn't come over there either, because we were already done eating, and we saved pizza for him. But then, I had that the next night. But on Friday, we got out so late, and we needed something to eat. Now, listen, if you've never been to Sandusky, Ohio, it is. I likened it to Brainerd. So Brainerd's like one strip. You got every chain restaurant you could possibly imagine on this one strip. Well, in Sandusky, everything closes at like 10.
10.
I don't know. And we didn't get done racing till like 10. So we basically drove up and around looking for places to eat. Applebee's was the only place open. This is like 11:15 now. All we want is just something to eat, because the food at the track that they fed us was not the greatest, and it's never good. But so we went to Applebee's. Lady goes, we just sat at 25 top. I don't think we're gonna get food out to you guys until like 1 or 2. I'm like, what? It's 11. Like you can get drinks, but other than that, and we were like, forget it. So it was me, Joe, and Hannah, and then here comes somebody else. And he's like Chris Monahan. He comes rolling in, and we get out the parking lot. All right, what are we gonna do? There's a Taco Bell right next door to us. So we're going to Taco Bell. We're just getting tacos. So Monahan went and got beer and met us back at the hotel. 35 minutes in a line waiting to get Taco Bell.
Ooh.
But it gave us a chance to kind of explain to Hannah, who's in her 30s, and Joe and I are not. We're older. Right. What yacht rock is.
Oh,
so we were listening to yacht rock in the line singing songs, and she's like, nice. I know this song. I go, yeah, it's yacht rock, Hannah. Come on.
Yeah, so we did McDonald's. Abby and I did McDonald's on Friday night because that was close to her hotel and it was easy. So, but yeah, we'll apologize to Memphis Lonnie for making you hungry. But yeah,
sorry,
that was the deal. So
yeah, but it's just like our thing is, and when we go to hotels and we get out late on Fridays, all we want is a beer or something at the hotel bar, whatever.
Right.
But then you go to these places and they don't stay open. Here
leaving
comes
so much money on the table.
Yeah, here comes 50 people that are stay at this hotel.
Right. That just want to give you their money. Want to. We did that for Abby's wedding last year in March. The hotel we stayed at. I asked them how late the bar was open, and they're like, "Well, it's probably going to close around 9:30." I go, "If you can stay open until 10, when we come in after this wedding reception, all my derelict friends and buddies, they'll fill your pockets with money." And I think the hotel bar was open till midnight, and that bartender made out like a bandit.
Yeah, and it's like
we're doing fireball shots and beers and just everything, all the terrible.
Yeah, just stay open a little bit. And you would think in a resort town like Sandusky, Ohio is.
That has this race every year for 25 years.
Right. And we're in the middle of summer and all the hotels are booked.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, we're going to have a problem here. You've got people coming and, let's stay open.
Yeah.
But.
And it's not like a worker shortage. It's just like, they just are like, that's just their deal. That's how they roll.
Yeah, well, I don't care about making an extra $1,500 to $2,000 because then some of these corporate places. Well, you did this last year. What happened? That I gotta keep my people here.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of making money, do we want to try to make some money with some commercials?
Sure. Let's do that.
All right. Let's do that, and then we'll come back and talk about 4th of July, which is right around the corner.
Yes, it is.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPF XFit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalysts designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com. The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline Oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
I played that one last for you because I know you like it.
I love it. It just gets me hyped up.
Yeah. One more thing. If you're fans of WFO, you know he's got a merchandise shop.
Yes.
This. Hold on, check.
Get your WFO merchandise
Right there, but also new to the shop and on sale. What?
Yeah, what?
Life's a Drag
Life's a
podcast
Drag
t-shirts.
shirts. Let's go.
Look at that.
I will be placing my order as soon as we get off the air because I just found out about this.
Yeah, $16. You can get that in the merch shop. That's right there. That logo right there on the bottom, right where you can find it. But I'm sure you guys all know where you buy all your WFO shirts. And but yeah, let's see who the first person with a Life's a Drag shirt shows up to a race.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll find it. We'll give them something special.
And we'll sign it for you, and then we'll also introduce you to your favorite driver, as long as you don't have a restraining order situation going on.
Correct. Yeah, and we'll find something else to give you too.
Yeah, something. Maybe we'll give you like Joe Costello's microphone that he used, like an event used microphone.
Oh, that would be awesome. But there you go. Go to the merch store.
All right, go to the merch store. Get your merch.
There you go. Perfect. So 4th of July, you're going out of town, huh?
Yeah, I leave tomorrow for Charleston, South Carolina. Never been. We're gonna eat it up and drink it up. We're
It definitely moves a little slower down there on the low country.
It's gonna be looks like it could be a little rainy, which I do not care because that will just drive us inside to meet people. And there's one thing that I do when I go on these little getaways with my wife is I love the boutique hotel.
Nice.
And we are staying at a hotel. I think it's called the Spectator.
Okay.
And it has butler service in our room.
Nice.
So my wife is like, there's no way I'm letting them unpack my bag. But I'm like, I'm for sure going to let them handle up on my undesirables. Why, yes, you can. You can unpack my bags.
That'll be great. Yeah, see, I would love a nice butler service to see how that goes, but then it would get a little weird just to know that you basically have a servant sitting outside waiting for you.
Yeah, that's the weird part is just kind of how does that work? I like the all-inclusive resort for that deal of like just coming back from the beach and then like hitting up room service and saying, bring me a plate of nachos.
Yeah, but that's room service. Now you have a dedicated
butler service. I don't know how it's going to work, but I'm very curious. I've never experienced anything like that at all. So, but it's right downtown, so it should be walking distance from everywhere. We got some reservations at some iconic restaurants, and so we're going to get the shrimp and grits on. I had a buddy recommend going to Fort Sumner.
Yeah, you could do that. That's a good little trip.
So, but we're just going to, I think we get in tomorrow midday, and then we may do a carriage ride tomorrow afternoon or first thing Friday morning to just kind of figure out what all we want to go check out.
You got to go across the Thomas Ravenel Bridge, the famous Ravenel Bridge, because it's the big bridge. See, I love Charleston only because I watched Southern Charm on Bravo. That's that, man. If we'd known farther out, you could have definitely gotten
binge that a little bit.
Oh, Southern Charm is just one of the greatest trash TV shows of all time. It's so great.
Well, maybe we'll get into it when we get back.
Oh, you have to. You'll be like, oh my God, I wish I'd seen these guys. And you might see some of them there because they all still kind of live there. Some of them like spread out.
Well, I may go to the Google after this because the other thing I like to do is when we go places like this, I will reach out to the Convention and Visitors Bureau on the interwebs.
Yep.
And say, hey, I'm coming. And Charleston on their game. I was like, yeah, I'd like some information about I'm coming to Charleston in a couple weeks. And then they sent me like a book that's like an inch thick of all the stuff to do in Charleston.
That's a great idea. That's super smart because that's all the Convention Visitor Bureau is there to do.
Right.
Give you information.
Tell you all the stuff. And there's usually coupons in there because I'm a big coupon guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so but
that's
it was
a good call.
Yeah, but it was also like we get now with hotels, you get the text updates.
Right.
And so we got a text update of like, hey, just let us, pass along your flight information. And so I did, and I was like, yeah, we're probably going to get in around noon. We're just going to Uber over. And they're like, we can arrange a car service for you. And I was like, no, I'm not quite to the level of car service guy.
Right.
Although it's probably pretty close to Uber, but
yeah, I was gonna say because I think the airport, you definitely have to go over the bridge to get into that place. But yeah, no, Charleston's great. Food's gonna be amazing. Get some oysters.
Any favorite spots for you since you've obviously been there?
Man, God, I can't really remember. I mean, they're all pretty good. All the restaurants are really good. It's like Savannah. Savannah's got like great restaurants all over the place too. I mean, you're not gonna have a bad meal.
I'll tell you, tomorrow we've got reservations at 82 Queen.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with that one.
That was a historic kind of place. And then Jennifer has a reservation for us on the 4th. And then we've scoped out some rooftops for the fireworks.
Yeah, there's definitely rooftop bars and all kinds of good stuff. I mean, that whole town kind of had a little renaissance of like really good restaurants coming in there. And you know, it's good. I mean, the low country food scene is good.
Yeah.
You're gonna have nice
so
seafood.
Speaking of fireworks,
we
had fireworks in Norwalk on Friday night.
Which Friday night was great. It looked like it was going to rain the whole second session, and we got done with the second session, and then we got done with fireworks, and then it rained. I mean, the second fireworks were over, it rained.
Yeah. So if you were at the Norwalk National event, I bet they spent well over $50,000 on fireworks.
Yeah, easily.
It was a nice, but that was basically half of the Night Under Fire fireworks display that they do in August.
That's crazy.
So I'm curious to see what the Charleston fireworks scene is like. You know,
they'll do a pretty good job because they'll shoot them all off the water because they've got pull up barges and stuff. So yeah, that'll be good.
And I've seen a couple fireworks disasters. We were in Fort Worth 10 years ago, and they had their little Fort Worth boat just had a little mishap and shot like all the fireworks off at once.
Oh, that's great.
Like it was supposed to be a 20-minute fireworks display, and at like minute 4, everything went off.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was cool, but it was like it would look like one just giant firework.
Right.
And then it was just like done. And everyone's like, man, that was awesome. Did they just shoot off all the fireworks?
That's great. Yeah, I remember having the old neighborhood I used to live in. There were a bunch of young families in there, and we'd get bottle rockets and smoke bombs, and nothing crazy. But then one year, this one guy came in with like mortars, and like, oh my God, this guy's getting insane. And of course, we're drinking, we're all hanging out in a garage, and all of a sudden, one time, he lit one up, and then it lit and fell over and shot directly into the garage. You've never seen people dive. I mean, it was like we were in Vietnam, and here comes a grenade in the foxhole. We were like, it was the crazy. And then the big burn mark where that thing blew up in his garage, hit his washing machine, dented that thing. Oh, it was great.
Spectacular. Yeah. So we have a neighbor that a few years ago would go, fireworks are not illegal in Tarrant County, but you can go out in the unincorporated areas. And he bought like a ton of stuff, and he was just shooting them off in our neighborhood and made my wife so nervous. But we were, again, drinking was involved, and we're just egging him on. And probably that's, my wife and I got into a pretty good, because she was like, quit egging him on. He's going to burn all our houses down. And we were like, Miller, go get some more. And he's just shooting mortars off in a neighborhood. Yeah, and then the cops showed up when we had just finished, and the cops showed up when we were like, "Oh no, I don't know what you're talking about."
We were launching rockets over here. There's the burn marks on the pavement.
We had sparklers. We had sparklers, and there's just fireworks litter. Yeah, in everybody's front yard. I mean, just obviously carnage, and it's further down the street. That was nice.
Yeah, I don't listen. Being here in Orlando, and we have really great fireworks every single day,
every night. Yeah,
I am so jaded when it comes to fireworks, and I love the fact that people love fireworks. I'm just like, whatever. I'm getting in my car and I'm leaving. I do not need to sit.
I didn't stay for the Friday night fireworks display at Norwalk because I've been there, done that. Now, a few years ago, Washington D.C. 4th of July fireworks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, those are good when you can see,
like when it's going off over the Washington Monument and all that stuff. Because we were at my son Nick, we were at a friend of his rooftop apartment complex, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, when you get a good spot, you can sit there at your own leisure. You don't have to fight traffic to get out of some guy's field just because that's the safest place to watch them.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, like I've got to work Friday and Saturday. I got to work this weekend out at Disney. And like somebody came, I worked there last night, and somebody was like, "Hey, what time are the fireworks at Epcot?" And they're always at 9:00 because Epcot closes at 9, and that's just
right.
So we all kind of rolled around at 9:00. He goes, "Is this a good place to watch them?" We're like, "No." You're just gonna see they'll come across the treetops right over there, and you'll see it. But the Epcot fireworks, if you've never seen it, there's a laser show on the lake and everything. You got to be in the park to see them. Really cool. But yeah, I'm anticipating people come to Disney Springs looking for fireworks, and there's not going to be any.
And they're not going to see.
They're going to be upset.
That's going to be disappointed. But I like the firework. I always now growing up, did you with your buddies get the Roman candles and have the Roman candle battles? Or the bottle rocket battles where you'd light the bottle rocket and try to throw them at your buddies?
Yes, we did. We did bottle rocket fights. We did. We were on we go camping and we were on a river, and one of the guys had had an old pontoon boat that he just basically made into like a battleship, and we would fire bottle rockets at this guy. We actually sank it one year because the motor went off, and then somebody started firing. We were like going crazy with bottle rockets and a barrage of Roman candles. Oh, it was the best. I think caught on fire. It was awesome.
Yeah, we would we'd go to my aunt and uncle's place in Pennsylvania, Page Lake, and shoot off fireworks and stuff. And it was like the most nostalgic summertime. You're 12 years old, you're running around with sparklers, and you thought it was so great that they would let you light off the bottle rockets out of the Coke bottles. And then the big, it was just, it was like the best time of doing that. And just,
yeah, and you have to be like on a body of water of some sort. It's so much. It's great. You watch the sunset, you just can't wait to light the first bottle rocket or the first sparkler. It's freaking great. Blake wants me to read this. Blake, please read my comment question about having an ice cream eating contest between you and my dad in Norwalk.
Oh,
okay.
I'll dive in on that. I'll go head to head eating.
Yeah, we'll eat ice cream.
Ice cream against, we could be the undercard.
Yes. See, that's what we need. This needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
Definitely needs to be bigger.
Like an undercard leading up to the Gianna event.
Right. Yeah, we need to have weight classes.
Yeah.
She's a featherweight, that one, and she's over there winning world titles. I can't have that.
So crazy.
Here comes super heavyweights.
Now, firework, so I have caught my shrubs on fire with bottle rockets. That was not good. Trying to, again, your little 13-year-old brain trying to tell your parents you don't really know what happened when they obviously can tell what happened.
Right.
You just burned a big hole in your parents' privacy hedge because bottle rockets caught on fire. And in East Texas, it's hasn't rained in like 3 months.
Right.
Yeah, not
one
good.
spark just lets it all go.
Yeah.
I
remember it takes a while to find the hose, get the hose over there, and you literally burned a hole 4 feet around, like the Stargate in your hedge.
Stargate, I love it. I immediately know exactly what you're talking about when you say Stargate. That's a great movie.
I actually just watched that a couple weeks ago.
You know what I just watched? I just leading up to Richmond. Courtney and I were talking. Enders, we were talking a bunch because she had to DJ for me, and she was like, and I interrupted her. She goes, "Hey, I'm watching Ted Lasso right now. I'll have to call you back." And I was like, "You know what? I watched all of them. I go, I'm going to go back and watch them again." I finally
this afternoon right before the show today.
Yeah, I watched this afternoon. I watched like the final 3 episodes, and what an amazing show! That show is so
great.
Freaking good.
Also, I watched World War Z over the weekend in honor of Joe Costello because I don't know if you're ever in the press room, but there was a young woman there that we need more of this. She asked everyone that came in at the end, like provisional number one qualifier, Mission Too Fast Too Tasty winners, race winners, if you were in the zombie apocalypse, what NHRA driver would you want to be partnered up with?
Oh, nice.
And the
She asked
answer,
that
I got to
question?
find out where she posts this stuff because the answers were gold. I mean, Angie Smith was picked by like 3 different people. But just it was like Super Bowl media day of just like the first time it happened,
Right.
everyone in the media center, their head just was like stopped and was like, what did she just ask Cruz Pedregon?
I don't know, who
guys,
would you pick?
Oh, I would pick like a guy like Hagen.
Yeah.
Or Spencer Hyde, somebody that's outdoorsy that also hunts.
Yes.
Steve Torrance would be great, I think.
He would be good.
He would be like the Daryl guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah. I would pick Angel because she's a little scrapper. She's from the Bayou.
Yeah, that's true also.
She can get some stuff
Live off
done.
the land.
Yeah, Matt Hagen, though, definitely you want somebody out front of you that can, take on at least 3 or 4.
Because that's the thing. As someone that does enjoy the zombie movie, and I feel like I have understanding of the zombie, they're not fast usually. They're slow, and it can be methodical, and you can have a plan. Just use the World War Z / Walking Dead playbook, and he should be fine.
I was watching The Rest of Us on, I forget, if it's Apple TV or whatever. That's another a zombie podcast. Those things are quick. There were different. There were different ones.
You're talking about The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, yeah.
Yeah, that's an HBO show, and I kind of I watched the first season. I thought it was awesome. And then started the second season, and then there was like a shocker turn of events in like the second or third episode.
Yeah,
that like real Game of Thrones like. Where I was like, oh, damn, they killed that guy?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's kind of the guy that I liked.
Right.
I just couldn't get past it. So I'm going to have to get back into it.
I agree with you. I kind of stopped halfway through season 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watch those movies all day long. But yeah, World War Z is a good one.
Yeah.
With
so good. But yeah, so that was Joe. The woman asked Joe, and I heard his answer, and then I was like, then that puts World War Z in your head. Do you ever have that when like you kind of get an idea for a movie in your head, and then you have to go dive through all your streaming platforms to try to find that movie?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm jonesing to watch The Departed and The Natural.
Yeah, The Natural's a good one. That's a really good one.
And I just like to distraction. Of like I dove through all my platforms and it just wasn't available. It was like on MGM Plus, which I don't have that.
No, yeah, that was me with the Ted Lasso. Is when she said she was watching Ted Lasso, I was like, oh my god, I got to go back and watch that, and I watched it all. But I watched The Covenant on the flight home. Like it took 2 flights or 2, 2 different flights. But I didn't get to the very, very end. I got to right when he got back to Afghanistan. They found the guy, and I'm like, oh.
Is that the Hugh Grant movie? Is Hugh Grant in that, or is that heresy?
No,
Hugh Grant's in some.
No, it's Guy Ritchie and it's Jake Gyllenhaal. About Jake Gyllenhaal. They've got an interpreter. This is like the first go round of the Afghanistan, and and his whole platoon or his
he goes back for the guy.
Yeah, and he goes back for the interpreter. And but yeah, that's a good movie. I was like, man, this is a good movie.
All right, I need to watch that because I've seen that. And so you get those movies stuck in your head, and then you just have to go back and sort them out and find them and stuff. And I just can't do more streaming services. I can't now. If offline you want to share your MGM Plus with me, hit me up at Elon Were on any of the socials.
We cut the cable a couple years ago, and I have YouTube TV, and then I've got the Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN thing,
right? Gotcha.
And then I got Paramount because people like to watch soccer in my house. There's I'm like, I might as well just have cable again.
We cut the cord 20 years ago.
Wow.
Like my kids never grew up with cable. We were over the air people. So, which here's a pro tip for young families. If you do that, then when you just go to a hotel, then they think hotel TV is the greatest thing ever because it has the Disney Channel or Discovery Channel to watch Duck Commander or whatever. Like our kids, because we were not like sugar cereal in our house, not a thing. Cable, not a thing. They thought the Hampton Inn was effing Disney. Help
Yeah, there was a
yourself to
pool
all
there.
the Apple Jacks you want.
Yeah, there was a pool,
cable
Apple
and a
Jacks.
pool. That was it. Just no amenities, just regular stuff.
Man,
Make 6 waffles if you want 6 waffles for breakfast.
Right. I remember when we first got cable, we had the slider box.
Yeah.
And that was like on our cable platform, we had ESPN, and I'll never forget finding ESPN. It was number 13 on the little slider, and they had college hockey on, and I was like, "What? I'm in Orlando, Florida. I'll watch college hockey. Why not?"
Yeah.
I mean, it was like for a week straight just watching the dumbest crap on ESPN. But yeah, I grew up watching TV.
We were talking a little bit about fireworks, and so I want to get into the other thing about fireworks on the 4th of July I think of is stuntmen.
Yeah.
And we may have to carry this over into another show because I have some hot sports opinions on this. But when I think of 4th of July, because I just saw some city, I don't know if you saw this video, did like a General Lee jumping over their fountain recently. Did you see the guy that just barely got out of the way of it? That was like,
yes.
Yeah. So that made me think of Evel Knievel. And to me, Evel Knievel is also, I feel like, 4th of July. I don't know if he did his jumps around 4th of July, but for whatever reason, I feel like
he had that white leather jumpsuit with the blue
with the star. Like Chris Bostic basically made one of his fire suit or his leathers for Pro Stock Motorcycle, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, dude, I'll never forget. I mean, again, this is so old. He's gonna Howard Cosell calling all his stuff jumping over 26 buses.
Yeah, Caesar's Palace, jumping over the fountains at Caesar's Palace, and then he broke every bone in his body.
Yeah, and then the Snake River thing was the absolute greatest thing. I mean, I was probably 7, 8 years old watching that, and I was like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing!" Like, Mom, he's gonna go jump across the gorge.
Can I tell you one of the greatest weekends I ever spent at an NHRA race was Bristol in 2008. I'd been working on a Sports Illustrated story about the forces, and they sent world-class photographer Heinz Klutmeyer to Bristol to shoot photos of force, and he shot the Evel Knievel Sports Illustrated cover.
Nice.
And I knew that. When I heard he was there, I totally am super nerd on sports photographers.
Right.
I was so excited that I basically just whipped his ass for a whole weekend. And he told me the whole week he was basically trying to get Evel, and it was all full rock and roll, chicks, drugs. And he basically talked Evel Knievel to going down to the bottom of the canyon for that iconic Sports Illustrated cover where he's at the Snake River.
Right.
And he just said it was spectacular. But after that, Heinz Klutmeyer was the first guy to put the cameras underneath the water at the Olympics and got that picture of us barely like out touching the Australians by like 1/1000th of a second.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And then he also was the innovator of the Kentucky Derby cameras right at the rail. So you get all those low angle up shots of the horses that are now like he got so many people sideways in the NHRA because he wanted to get out on the track beyond the finish line and shoot cars coming at him. He wanted to set cameras up on the center line, like 20 feet in front of this tree.
Right.
Yeah, he was like, basically at the end, he said, I don't care. I want to get this picture of force. And he goes, what I'm going to do is on the last day, I'm just going to jump over the guardrail and take these photos. And if they throw me out, I don't care. Yeah. And I don't think Evel ever practiced either. Cause some of those jumps you couldn't practice, like the buses and stuff. Yeah. No, but Evel to me is such a slice of Americana around the 4th of July, but so great.
Yeah, no, you're right. And there's so many of those things that you were, again, like Florida, it's so freaking hot here. It's like we're gonna stay inside. We're good. We don't need to go watch fireworks.
Yeah.
But we've gone to the beach and the beach I go to, you still drive on, and just
nice. Yeah.
cars.
That's like
and
Port Aransas.
Yeah, all up and down the beach, you see everybody lighting fireworks off. I mean, it's cool stuff. But then there's like one road in and one road out, and it's 5 hours just to get back out back home. But yeah, man, it's good. 4th of July should be fun this weekend. Independence Day. Everyone, be safe.
Yeah, and we'll be back next Wednesday. I mean,
yeah, don't blow your hands off. We need.
Yeah, don't go John Pierre Paul, whatever that guy, an NFL player, because you don't want club hand.
That's right. He totally blew himself up.
Yeah.
What an idiot. Stupid.
Yeah. Be safe with your fireworks. Don't mix alcohol in fireworks. Don't shoot them off. Be sensitive to animals. Dogs don't like fireworks. Don't be that jerk.
Yeah, and people that have PTSD from being overseas in the wars.
Yeah, be aware. Sensitive. Like maybe wander over to next door and see what's going on. Be good neighbors.
Yeah. And after 9 o'clock, stop, because I don't need to be all night listening to fireworks at midnight.
Yeah.
God, we're getting old.
We are old man screaming at clouds.
I love it.
All right.
All right, sounds good. All right.
Later, everybody. Everyone have a good 4th of July.